Boy, oh boy, are we getting into it now. Hi, folks. Welcome back to the third episode of this season's edition of the OUA basketball show already. Can you believe that? I can't. My name's Griffin Porter. We got a fantastic guest for you this week, and that makes sense because we had a fantastic week of basketball that we have to recap. So let's get to it. We're going to start with the game that I had circled on the men's side last week as my game to watch, and it was a good one as the Western Mustangs, they hold up their end of the bargain and take down the Carleton Ravens 98-92. And you look at the box score, 4 of the 5 Western starters scoring 20 or more points in that game. I think that tells you just about how that one went. It's a team game, and Western spreading the ball around. They looked really, really good in that win. Elsewhere on the men's side, some notable results. We had a narrow McMaster win over the U of T Blues by just 2 points. Carleton loses again to Windsor to complete a winless weekend for the Ravens. You don't say that very often. And the GGs beat the Western Mustangs. So good luck trying to find a title favorite here early on. I guess you'd probably look in the direction of Kingston, but there's a lot of good teams who look like they're jockeying for position here as we're through 2 weekends now. And another contender just might be the TMU Bold, who beat the U of T Blues 96-91 behind 22 points from our old friend Aaron Rooms and 33 points for David Walker. That's a dynamic duo that's starting to look deadly for the TMU Bold. On the women's side, I don't think it's quite as difficult a decision to pick out a early title favorite. The Queens Gales beat Laurentian 75-48, and then they beat Nipissing as well to stay undefeated, and they look really, really good. TMU Bold and Carleton Ravens both also have 2-0 weekends as well. So all of our top teams off to hot starts here in 2023. And then, of course, you had the Guelph Griffins and the Waterloo Warriors. They played a tough split with each side taking the home game of their home and home. And our guest this week has certainly been making her mark on the Warriors so far this season. And my guest today is one of the breakout stars of the early 2023 OUA basketball season, Ghiselle Poblete of the Waterloo Warriors. Thanks so much for coming on the OUA basketball show.
Thanks, Griffin, for having me.
It's my pleasure, trust me. I guess we should get right into it with the big headline that you are 5th in the entire country right now in points per game, 19.7 points per game. Obviously, we're still early on, but how's the start of the season going so far for you?
It's been great. I'm really excited to get going. It's a new team, so I'm really just excited to get out there and compete.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a bit of a new team this year for the Warriors. Obviously, you guys had that great year last year, but then you had a bit of turnover. Vanessa Hughes, Caitlin Overeem, both moving on. So you have a much bigger role this year than you did last year. How did you approach that going into this season?
I think last year, again, we had a great season and a historic season, but overall, I think we had a lot of vets on our team, and I was able to learn from them a lot. So that really helped me prepare and just learn overall for this coming season.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything that you remember some of those vets teaching you that you're using right now as you're off to the great start?
Yeah, can't really think of specifics, but I just know that they always held me accountable and always told me to compete and go hard, and that's just the main thing. I wanted to keep up with them, so that's just what I did.
For sure. Well, it's paying off so far. And I was just wondering, obviously, like we mentioned, those 2 key players, the starting guards moving on. Did you have any talks with Coach Roque this summer about your role this year and how she wanted you to approach the game now that you're taking on a bigger role?
Yeah, I think beginning of the season we definitely had that meeting, but I think again even last year I already knew what was it my role was gonna be, for last year, and then learning from that and then coming into this year and getting a bigger role. So I think I knew from the beginning.
That's great. Yeah. So you had plenty of time to prepare. And did you go about anything differently this summer, to get ready for taking on a bigger role in the offense?
Yeah, so I stayed close to Waterloo this summer, so I was able to just work on my game with other girls who are also staying in the area. So just staying prepared and getting ready.
That's fantastic. So a lot of the teams stayed together this summer and worked together?
Yeah, just preparing for the season and for this new team. So
Yeah, it's great because Yeah, obviously, like you touched on last season, a great season for you guys, a historic season. You went 17-5 in the OUA regular season. You went all the way to the OUA semifinals. You played a really good game, a close game against Queens. So it seems like you guys really wanted to make sure that coming into this season, you kept that momentum going, even though it is a bit of a new generation. Like it seems like you took that really seriously.
Yeah, for sure. Just a lot of preparation and staying ready.
Fantastic. And just one last thing I wanted to touch on here. A big chunk of your success so far this season has come from the free throw line. You've been doing really great there. I don't want to jinx anything, but you've only missed one free throw so far this season. You went 12 for 12 from the line against Guelph in your most recent game. Was that something that you really looked to work on this offseason?
Yeah, I think yeah, for sure in the summer worked on that, but just a lot of mental work. We worked on that in practice, so just hitting those shots.
Yeah, and have you also tried harder to get to the line? Like is that something you're trying to incorporate more into your game?
Yeah, just looking to attack more and not being afraid of that contact. And again, like I'm not afraid because we work on that in practice, so just staying confident.
Fantastic. Well, it's all working out great for the Waterloo Warriors and you so far, Giselle. So I'll let you get back in the gym. I'm sure your teammates love to work with you even more. It seems like you're going to be the one teaching them now. So congratulations to you on your great start to the season, and hope it keeps going.
Thank you so much, Griffin. Thanks for having me.
Thanks again to Giselle. The Warriors are in Nipissing to take on the Lakers this Friday before they go to Laurentian on Saturday. So good luck to her and her team this weekend. However, my game of the week on the women's side is going to go down to St. Catharines Friday night as the Brock Badgers play host to the Carleton Ravens. That should be a really fun one. Two great teams going head to head. Then on the men's side, I'm going to highlight a back-to-back OUA East matchup. The Ontario Tech Ridgebacks. They're off to a nice 3-1 start to the year. They got a perfectly even point differential, but now it's a tough test. They play a back-to-back with the undefeated Queens Gales. So if the Ridgebacks can manage to take one of those two teams, it'll be a big statement for Ontario Tech. So that'll be my men's game to watch. Are the Ontario Tech Ridgebacks for real? Here's our chance to find out. Thank you all so much for tuning in for another episode. Thanks again to Giselle. My name's Griffin Porter. Hope you enjoy a great week of OUA basketball, and we'll see you again next week.